I think it was just TikTok because what it was is I was using my iPad to go live and they could still hear me double talking on
Right, right, yeah,
the iPad would not have to be in the same room with me
right,
in order
yeah.
for me to do it. And I could have did it that way, but like I said, everybody in this house is doing something on some type of device on some kind of level. We are computer heads around here.
It's
But
okay.
anyways, y'all, we were talking about what does peace mean to you. So, Queen, what does peace mean to you?
Oh, I've been thinking about that since you mentioned it earlier. And I was like, I'm not sure how I'm going to describe exactly what it means to me. But for the most part, peace to me is having that solitude to yourself, despite whatever it is you may be going through, having that inner peace. To maneuver through life because life can throw us all kind of curves and winding roads, and we can go through some hard times, but we have to have, like that foundation of being able to ground ourselves. Grounding brings me peace a lot. Grounding and meditation helps
Yeah,
a lot with my peace. And the more I grow, the more I realize and the more I stress the importance of peace. You have to have peace no matter where you are, no matter what the situation is. And if you get in stressful situations, you have to figure out ways to go about finding the piece that works for you,
right.
not the piece that works for everybody else. Because sometimes we get so consumed in taking care of everybody else and making sure everybody else is good, and we drown.
Hmm.
So we have to have our peace. We have to be right first before we can help anybody else get right.
Exactly. So real, so true. And I know someone was saying that a lot of people say that it'd be hard for them to, meditate and quiet their mind.
Right.
Trying to bring Coco. She
Hey
probably
guys,
on. Hey, welcome in, beautiful. Here is another peace angel, y'all. Welcome in, Coco. Sipping Coco.
thank you. It is a peaceful blessing to be here.
Well, it's a peaceful blessing to have you here. Me and Queen was up here, Goddess Queen up here building on what peace, meant to her and adding on about how people, you know, have to, it's important to have it, when we go through
Yeah.
different things in our lives. So welcome, welcome in. Great to have you here on the Living Peace podcast today. I appreciate y'all for taking the time to come up here. It means a whole lot to me. And Coco, what do you have to add about this peace energy? What does peace mean to you in a sense?
Oh man. Yeah. Peace is major. I learned later in life how major peace was for me. Um it got to a point to where I actually that's how I kind of found my direction. If I was involved in something or a direction or people, places, and things, I learned that if my peace wasn't with it, regardless of what the situation was, that it wasn't for me. And peace for me meant like if I wasn't, even if it was an ugly situation, right? If you know you had to have a conversation that wasn't so happy go lucky or something, but you had peace with it, and I knew it was for me to have that conversation or to me to go that direction. I was in college and trying to figure out live child and following friends all over the place, trying to think that's where my peace was gonna be. Let me go where my friends are. And that wouldn't end. And I came back home and I was just didn't know what to do with myself. So I just started working at Walmart. So I'm like, okay, I'm working at least. At least I'm doing something productive. Okay, whatever. I didn't have kids at the time.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that ain't it. This ain't doing it either. It's not giving peace. I don't know what's going on. And I ended up seeing a commercial for like massage therapists.
Mhm.
And initially, in high school, I wanted to actually become a physical therapist. And I was blessed to like intern under a physical therapist in their practice for a little while I was in high school. But I figured out that wasn't for me because that was so stressful. The therapist I used to work for, she was such a beautiful heart, and it just stressed her out so much having to deal with insurance and not being able to give the clients what they needed. And so I was like, well, that ain't peaceful. I don't know if I want to do that. And I
Right.
ended up seeing the commercial one day, and it was just like the light bulb just came on. Like, okay, massage therapy is a part of that. You've already discovered that with your experience. So let's start there. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And that was a very tumultuous process. But because my piece was with that decision, I stuck it out. I stuck it out more than I stuck anything out at the time. So
So
peace for me is a
mhm.
very integral part of the guiding to one's life purpose, the guiding to one's strength to push past the times that is challenging your peace. Um, and it's different for everybody. I've learned some people feel peaceful in familiar situations and they just stay where they at and that's their peace, no judgment. But yeah, that's what it is for me.
That's real. I believe it's real. And you finally found something that you enjoy doing. Because I know a lot of people who go to work and they don't like it. It's not a peaceful, so they quit job after job.
Hmm.
Because if you can't work in peace, you really, don't want to. It's not going to be a good day, pretty much. So a lot of people go from job to job because it's nothing that they really enjoy doing, and they can't find peace in it. They're just doing it because of the money and to get through at the same time.
Hmm.
You're right. And it allows you to. And when you bounce around from job to job, you eventually find a job where you can, okay, this is peace.
Yeah.
I could do this. This is something that I enjoy doing, And massaging and healing people in peace is a good thing, because
Right.
you
Hmm.
take it all healing. Back be,
I'm
what I'm
telling
saying,
you,
healing back and everything.
there was
Because I
so much peace in it that I hadn't listed. It wasn't even my baseline plan to stay in massage therapist. It was supposed to be part of the plan. And now I've been
right.
doing it for over 13 years.
Because it was meant. You have healing hands. You
Yeah.
had a you had a purpose to heal in peace, and that's where that's what God led you right there. To be able to do that.
That's so
Yeah.
true. And
Mhm.
finding peace is
Thank
also
you.
finding what makes you happy.
You heard me. Dang, he in a whole zone, y'all, about somebody else live. I'm over here trying to say, hey, I get some sound issue. Yeah, okay. Um,
What you say, T?
Oh,
Serious
I
about this.
said, finding your peace is also finding your happiness. I feel
Yeah,
like you don't really have peace if you're not happy. That's not settling. Because you know how we go through these situations and we're like, okay, that's good for now, or all right, I'll deal with it. But you're not happy, you're not fulfilled. So, peace, happiness, fulfillment, it all goes together.
yeah, it does. Because it'll bring balance.
Exactly.
And what made me even start the Live in Peace movement because so many people was wanting to go rest in peace. Like I can't wait till I rest and find some
Mm,
peace. I can't take it no more. I'm tired. And I'm like, why people say that? Like why do they think that going to the other side is where they're gonna find their peace at? And they don't
right.
even know really if they're gonna have peace on the other side. They
Hmm.
know that's
Very
what
true.
the narrative is. So and
Very
I'm
true.
like, live in peace today. We don't have to wait till we be, on the other transform to find no peace. We
Because
start this right now.
technically, that's not what we're here for. We're not here to struggle and go through these
Right.
hard times. Like, yeah, we
Right.
are here to learn lessons and we are here to experience things, but we're not here to live life and life be hell every day. Like, you have to
Right.
choose. You have to make a conscious decision, because it's all in your mind of how your life is. You are the author of your life. So if something is
Because
not working, you have to figure out what it is that you can do, manifest it, sit with it, and activate that and work towards it to get to your peace.
Yes, exactly.
big
Exactly.
facts.
And I see a lot of people, even when they, go through breakups, it's like they get devastated. They don't lost their whole selves because of they're no longer with another person, and they start feeling hopeless and depressed. And I have to tell them, no, you got to get your power back. I said, God got you in a position to where you have to start back loving you again. You don't gave all of your pop peace to another person, and you're looking for them to bring it to you and give it to you because you feel like you done gave them all of yours, and that's not the right thinking.
Yes.
It's the wrong mind state. You have to.
Exactly.
That's that other part of what does peace really mean to you? Because what you might think is peace, because it's what's been comfortable or familiar, may not really
Right.
be peace.
Can be
Yeah.
chaotic,
Man.
True. Be more comfortable and
really
thinking it's
chaotic. And
yeah.
we have to get out of being stagnant in life too, because sometimes comfortability brings stagnation or whatever you want to call it, and you just stuck and you feel like, okay, this is what my life is, but is it really what your life is about? You know what I mean? Like, you really have to sit with yourself and look within and find what your purpose here is.
Yes, that is so true because a lot of people don't even know it.
Don't
They
have
don't
a
have
clue.
nope.
Don't
I've
have
talked
a
to people
clue.
and they I never even thought about what my purpose is. And and when you got a purpose, that gives you drive.
Yes, it
It gives
motivates
you
you.
something to look for every day and go for when you understand that you do have a purpose. And a lot of people, we got a lot of gifts and skill sets and stuff that they don't even know that they had because it was a lot of things placed here already for them to think that that's their direction to go in. So they be, not having peace because they're not fulfilling what their true purpose is here in the
Right.
first place.
And you have to think of the
Some
conditioning process too, because
oh, just so you better talk.
when we come here, we become conditioned throughout our lives of what life should look like based upon the people and the environment we are surrounded by. And the whole process of, yeah, we learn stuff, yeah, we go through stuff, but it's when you reach that level of spirituality, and when you reach that level of really knowing who you are, you can begin the steps to uncondition yourself from those things, so that you find what you're really here for. You find yourself.
Right.
So true.
Exactly.
And it's really hard, especially if you may, for instance, have come up with, what people call a close knit, family or a close knit friend group or a close knit community. And the only piece that is presented is to fall in line with what has been told around you should be doing or your life should look like. And then you find one day when you step away from it, dang, this ain't what I was brought up doing, but it sure feel good to do right now. Like I have so many confirmations in this doing this one thing that no one would agree with should be done, but it's bringing me peace.
Right.
It's bringing me clarity. Things are starting to make sense. I don't feel like I'm under a pressure cooker anymore.
Yes. Yes.
You
I
damn
don't,
right.
I don't feel like I'm under a microscope. And I feel honestly like my connection with God, source, universe, whomever that, is for you. Like I really feel hurt and felt now. And I can feel them back. And I can hear them back. I
Exactly.
used to battle real hard with not I wasn't a perfect child by any means, but I had a saying, child, a whole saying. It was, if my mama ain't got a problem with it, ain't worry about what nobody else think. And
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
and it's like even before I found spirituality, God kind of told me, well, we talked about idols and whatnot. You kind of, you make mama idol at that point. I'm like, oh shoot, you okay? You're right. But then
Right.
I also found out that it was more so the not wanting to trust myself. Like if you've been through situations where you say, for instance, my mom said we're having a regular conversation, right? And she's giving you advice on something, or someone you love is giving you advice, somebody you trust that know that has your best interest at heart, and they've experienced something in whatever area you're looking at, and you take their advice, even though something in your head is telling you like, I don't really know if that's the right thing for me to do though. Once you kind of have enough times of shutting down your inner voice, your higher self, Holy Spirit, God, whomever, and doing what that person does, and you talking back and forth with it, you're not gonna be able to be willingly blinded anymore to where your peace is.
Yep.
And
So true.
it's peace is something you really have to be willing to fight for. That's another thing. People hear the word peace and think that doesn't come with a battle, but it does.
Yes, yes. You read my mind from earlier. I was thinking that, girl. I was like, when I started finding peace, everything, it was like a whole tornado, storm, volcano, earthquake
Hmm.
hit all at once on my ass. And I was like, okay, I see what you're doing.
Hmm.
Okay. You want me to remain peaceful in the midst of the storms, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, the
Come on.
floods, and everything. I got you. Because you just trying to let me know that everything going to be cool. So why panic? So I was like, okay. It took me losing everything and to find peace.
That's normally how it happens too.
Because I was looking
Yeah.
for it all
Yeah.
outside of myself, like y'all
Yep.
was saying. And I was like, when this world gonna change? When these people, when we gonna have peace in this world? And peace starts from within. And that's when you
Hmm.
really start having peace in this world, no matter what's going on the outside of you.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, and I Bible scriptures come up with me a lot. That's how I was raised, and that's cool. I'm grateful for every piece of tools that I've been blessed with to really connect. But you
right.
know, when it comes to your peace, you really do have to guard your heart. You have to guard the things that are peaceful to you. You're the people who do not understand even why that certain thing or that certain way of living gives you peace. You have to guard that. You can't just succumb to it every time you get questioned because of respect a person, respect the situation. Like, and that's not easy. It's not easy a lot of times.
Nope. And then you gotta, understand like the methods to helping you, because a lot of people got a lot of past trauma from their past childhood and stuff built up
Mhm.
inside of them,
Absolutely.
and that's why it's hard for them to, have peace, and then they end up growing envious of the people that have peace in them. And you know how they say misery loves company. So
Uh-huh.
they try to do everything they can to try to pull you where they're at because they don't have that inner peace because they're still fighting that past trauma from their childhood and stuff like that. So they go around, trying to disturb other people's peace. And a lot of people got to heal from that. There's things out there like Queen was saying, meditation. You could do Reiki healings. Listen to mantras, videos and stuff.
Several
Yoga.
tools.
Yoga definitely, helps you with your past traumas and stuff. I don't know if people knew that because my sister, she got a master's degree in yoga. So I learned some things on my father's side. So I learned some things about more things about it. And she was saying that your yoga helps you with your healing your traumas from your past, and she does it. She only yoga for children. She does, and I'm glad that she's starting with the children because they do need it a lot because during from your childhood it does dictate the outcome of your future. So I'm glad she's teaching the youth.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great. It is.
Yes, she rather reach out to them and do the yoga. She was just telling me it helps your childhood. She said she cried a lot and released a lot
Mm-hmm.
out while she
Mm-hmm.
was doing it. So there's methods that can help people, you know.
Absolutely.
And I only named a few. So but it's a
Right. We
lot.
living in an age, and I'm grateful that there are so many tools. It's like all you really have to do is be willing to seek out peace for yourself.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to say. You have to be willing to want peace.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yes. I'm talking about like you
Mm-hmm.
want that piece of chicken or whatever else you want, and you gotta want peace. Same as whatever your
Yes.
favorite food is, or whatever your favorite dessert, or however. You gotta want it just
Yes.
as bad. And identify it, and thinking in peace too. Because them thoughts, boy, they the ones that's gonna be with you if nobody is with you.
Come
Thoughts
on.
Absolutely.
and them thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely got to keep that thought and that thinking intact, because that thinking can control your whole fucking outcome.
Period.
Yep.
That's exactly what it's gonna do. You can
It-
actually achieve like finding and you can, let's be clear. And this is not to knock any of these things, but we have to understand these are just tools to activate and get into our peace. But the peace is definitely within you. You can do yoga all day long or meditation all day long, but what are you meditating on? What is your purpose for doing yoga? What
Yep.
is, we got to connect them with the real foundation of what it gives me peace. Does silence give me peace? Do I have peace when I'm around loved ones, or do I have peace when I'm separate? And is that really peace? You really got to do the work to really identify between peace and isolation. Because you can
Right.
have peace in isolation, but just because you isolate don't mean you're in peace. Because if them thoughts in your head kicking your butt, you're not in peace. You need to write. I feel like maybe it's a good idea also as another tool to journal, and I don't say that to be anybody's professional on, or not even professional, to be consistent on it. I'm so consistent with my journaling. However, I can tell you this: when I was in the middle of a transition place after my husband had passed, and I was living somewhere that I won't say I didn't have no business living there because it was a total life lesson that I wouldn't have learned any other way.
Uh huh.
But it was so chaotic and I was already so lost that just one day I just found myself just literally sitting in the middle of the floor with my legs crossed, rocking, just trying to find peace, just sitting in the room by myself.
Wow.
And I just heard the spirit just say, get your spiral and start writing. Just write. It don't even matter what you need to write. All this is in your head. Just write. And I could not stop writing until like I actually was able to calm down and sit still and just sit in that moment. So peace sometimes is releasing those things that are
Right.
plaguing you,
Yes.
even if you're in the midst of the storm.
All about release.
Exactly. Because you build it all up on the inside. That's why we say inner peace. Because,
Yes,
like
inner
you said,
peace.
and that stuff start messing with your chest and stuff, and
Hmm.
Yes,
Also,
because
I think too,
suppressing those feelings don't
yeah,
help. We have to have
right.
moments where we release and be vulnerable and be true with ourselves and sit in how we feel so
Hmm.
that it's like shadow work. It's all about shadow work.
Hmm.
You have to really dig deep because sometimes another thing is sometimes people don't realize the trauma that they hold
Right.
right,
because they suppress it. And they're like,
Yes.
"Oh, you mean when I was 6 and this happened and oh, so that's why I am like this today." You have to go back and you have to
mhm,
take time and you have to
Hmm.
give yourself grace because it's a process and it is not a pretty process, but
Hmm.
it's so worth it. Once you
Hmm.
actually reach that level of peace, it's worth it and you see life in a whole different way.
yeah, and a
Man,
whole
say that. If you
man,
are not equipped to give yourself grace at that time, that's gonna be the first place where you learn how to find peace. Because you have to not only forgive those who done wrong, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, but we have to forgive ourselves. Because sometimes we get upset that we allowed ourselves to be in certain situations, or that we ignored our intuition on some things, or even that we took part of stuff we just knew wasn't right flat out. You got to have grace for yourself.
All the time, because people do be too hard on themselves and they want to change the past a lot. And, if I could have changed, if this didn't happen, if that didn't happen to me, and then they're not even dealing in the now because, they don't have peace. So they're still trying to see how they can go back and change what mistakes they made that already happened a lot.
Hmm.
They get stuck there. And I'm like, man, you're just missing so many. Even just going outside, walking, and just smelling fresh air can be a part of peace to somebody. And listening to some
Hmm.
birds chirping, and getting grounded. Hugging trees. Help bring
Hmm.
happiness.
Right.
There's so many things you can do. To find peace, from to help you. It's all kind of results. They have therapists that you go to and all kind of things. They even got therapist apps now that you can download if you're depressed, you feel lonely.
Exactly.
You can download the app and it'll help you feel more peaceful and uplifting about yourself.
If you really
And
want it, you can find it these days. We have a
yeah,
lot of tools.
you will look up the resources in a heartbeat. Like, where can I find more peace? And stop letting people steal it easy from you. Because people, when they
Yep.
don't
Hmm.
have what to say, they be ready. You know.
Hmm.
You just have to really want it. And once you obtain it, that's the beauty of it. Once you obtain it, you don't go backwards. You don't have moments where
Hmm.
you allow other people or energies or situations to affect it. You live in peace, as you say all the time. Because me and Coco, we can be talking throughout the day, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just sit in peace,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah, because we do it all the time. Like Ricky say, in peace. I'm gonna
In
do this.
peace.
Now, if I
For
have
real.
to cuss you out, I'm gonna cuss you out in peace. I'm
In
gonna go on
peace.
about my business.
And just gone by my merry way.
That part right there. That part. I kept my peace
I kept my peace.
though. And
And
all of
people gonna look at you crazy, honey. For keeping that peace, they gonna look at you like, how dare
that.
you? And you
How
have to
dare
expect it to like, how dare I not?
how dare I? You thought you was gonna control me and get me upset because of what you said?
Hmm.
I'm still in peace, girl. So whatever you said was just extra in your mind.
You thought.
And people don't like it. You want to argue back and stuff. They be like, man, I can't get to this person peace.
Yes, yes, yes.
Hmm.
Especially those who really have been around you the most or who knew you the most before you got to this point of peace because they at that time they knew your triggers. So they would try
Right.
purposely to trigger you and they're like, okay, this is little, so that's not gonna piss her off. Oh, but I do
Oh,
know what will. Let me say this. And once they don't get their reaction, they're lost. They're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
no.
what am
Oh,
I
That's
doing?
that's
What's
so
wrong?
scary and crazy to me because I've literally had someone, a family member, do that. Like they're
Mhm.
like, they'll say sometimes, "Oh, I knew that'll get you." Why is that your purpose to get me? First of all, what is happening?
Exactly.
What is going
I,
on?
You need a little pill or something because something is wrong. Something
it's
is
called,
But
wrong.
the thing about that
I
is,
see what it
it's
was
the
called. It
energy
was called
exchange.
dysfunctional. What
It
you
is
said?
dysfunctional.
It's dysfunctional and it's an energy exchange because
Yeah.
they have been taught at some point in their life that that if you can do that, first of all, it's quote unquote powerful, right?
Mhm.
And then they can get the only way that they can feel good about themselves from your response. So
Right.
unfortunately, it's a whole hot ass mess, is what it is.
Right. Exactly. And
Mm-mm.
I mastered my pieces on so many levels. I remember this lady cussed me out so bad, face to face. And all I can do is look at her after she cussed me out, and I told her I'm gonna pray for her. That right
Hmm.
there, that would let me know that I mastered my peace, because the
Yes.
old me would have been on a whole nother level. So I was like, I'm proud. It felt so good to not let somebody overpower you
Yeah.
about your character because they out their character. I
Hmm.
mean, it's the most beautifulest feeling in the
Yeah.
world.
It
Because I would
really is.
have been crazy. I mean, what I'm saying, had I not let that. That's why I said it don't even be worth it. Nobody's worth your peace. Take
Nobody is
Mm-mm.
nobody
worth it.
worth it.
Nobody is worth it.
It's not.
Mm-mm.
And a lot of people don't have peace because they don't have self care. They don't know how to self care and self love
Yeah.
themselves, and that's why their peace is not settled. So it's important to do that. It's important to
Hmm.
care and self love
Yes, yes.
all the time. And the first priority is yourself. Because if you have peace, the whole house gonna have peace. If you're not in
Yes.
peace, then guess what? The whole house gonna have issues because you the balance of it.
Yes, indeed.
So your
It's
children
just
gonna be
like you
acting
say,
crazy.
live in
Uh,
peace and not pieces. It's
right.
literally just
Ooh,
like
come
you
on.
say.
Exactly.
Live in
It
peace
is.
and not pieces, honey.
And you'll
We're
be
so
all
used
over
to
the
living
place.
like Queen just said. I don't know if you Queen on here either, but we're so
You
some
got it,
people
Queen.
some
Got it,
people are so
Queen.
used to that chaotic life that it actually scares them when things get too peaceful. And
I
it's
know,
sad.
right?
Yes.
Just girl, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Like I
Yeah.
had a cousin that was like that. She just had to have a toxic life. It just was
Yeah.
no peace for her. Every day she woke up ready for toxicity.
Yeah.
That was her. That was her peace.
Yeah.
It
And
was
it be
scary.
that what's it called? What's that fake stuff? Imitation piece.
Karma ties can impact people to feel negative emotions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
If you're
that's
tied to somebody that's constantly wanting that toxicity, like you explained about your cousin, you tied to a person like that, whether it be a family member or a lover or a job or something like it, you're gonna feel down around them, even if nothing happened. You're gonna feel depleted around them because it's
yeah,
just that energy is such a low vibrational energy.
exactly. For real, for real. And I'm a big person about the energy thing. I just can't
Absolutely.
be around unmotivated people and stuff. It just icks me. It irks me. I be like, hold up, I got to remove before I take it. I get up, I just remove myself around in peace because I can't control nobody. But I just be careful with certain energy.
Yeah. And
You
that's
know?
another thing people have to realize that just because the next person is unhappy or, toxic or something like that, you are not required to be in that space with them.
Right,
You can
Come
help,
on.
you can try to guide them through it, but you
Yeah.
are not required to bring down your peace, your
Yeah.
energy, your vibrations because of what they are going through or because they
right,
want to be stuck in that space.
Yeah.
right.
So don't
Fact.
let anybody make you feel or tell you that that's something you have to do, because no,
Hmm.
absolutely not.
Wow, you're so right.
And
It,
there
it,
real people do that. You can't go nowhere. You gotta be, baby. I'm gonna show you what I can do.
you asking me, Mercedes, love. I was reading the comments on TikTok.
Hmm.
Someone asked me a question, and I'm not sure what they was asking me. Can I ask, what do you get?
I would love to share this on Facebook. I will share you, Ricky.
Yeah, y'all are able to share too. Y'all can share on up to two platforms if y'all wish to share it. It allows y'all to do that. If you want to, you can. Because I'm sharing it,
We're gonna
even though
share
I'm
the
live
link
on
in the
here.
chat.
Yeah, it'll share it. I think y'all can go. Can y'all should be able to go live on there on two platforms, or either share it. It's one or the other.
Okay,
If
we're gonna figure it out.
I like this StreamYard better because it allows up to 10 people on here to come in
Mm.
here. build together and stuff.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Yeah.
I've been on here once before, like with a
It
link
lets
like
you,
that.
I can go live on Twitter and certain. It's not Tik. Maybe later they're gonna be, working with TikTok where you could go live on there too, instead of
Hmm.
how I was attempting to do it. It'd be great if they let you go live on TikTok eventually because you can go live on Twitter, LinkedIn, and all that stuff, but you can't go live on TikTok. But
Mm.
at the same time, like it'll make it live all at the same time, and that's dope to me. But the only thing is you can't see all the comments while you're live on most of the platforms.
Mm.
And no Mercedes, I don't get that amount per month on here at all. If you're asking me if I get $7,886 per month on TikTok, no, I do not. Not at all.
Girl,
Not
sign us up for
yet.
that.
Okay,
Uh,
not yet.
let me find out if somebody is.
Okay.
I need to
Hmm.
talk to them, see
We
what
need
they
a
do.
sign up sheet.
I need to
Okay,
figure out what they're doing over there real quick.
real quick.
Yeah. I'm sure it's people that are making that though, because I be seeing some people on here be look like they be getting it on the gifts and stuff and everything, and they be on there 24/7, and they lit
Mm-hmm.
their lives be lit. They don't be having like 5 to 6 people. They be having a lot of people in there dropping. And then the celebrities, I watch them get on TikTok and they be TikToking their piece, getting gifts after gifts, big gifts too. And I know they like, dang, I ain't even gotta go on stage now, and I can make
Nope.
money.
Right.
Soldier Boy be TikToking every day in peace, you know. And that's why I started my TikTok in peace too, because we gotta be able to TikTok, get on social media, everything in peace, parent in
Right.
peace. I started a parenting piece
Mhm.
because I'm like, there's too many parents suffering from parenting alienation because two parents can't come together and have
Yeah.
a conversation because one parent is still stuck in their trauma from their past and whatever else has
Right.
happened and their mess up.
Absolutely.
They want everybody else to not be at peace, and it causes the child to have a sense of not being at peace too because both parents are not involved, and you gotta
Right.
see both of them, falling out or can't get along, and you're a child that want to see both of your parents, but you only stuck with one parent because they can't parent in peace. So I feel like I need to put that out there because it's just something that gets
And even
brushed
to some of the
over.
parents that, actually do have to actually keep it separate, that are actually not helpful to the child's well being, that are literally abusive, are literally, neglectful in a sense. I
Right.
mean, and I'm not talking about just taking somebody right because you're mad. I'm talking about these babies really suffering.
All right, welcome in, Papa Patch. Welcome in
Peace,
to the
peace,
Live in Peace podcast.
Peace,
peace,
peace.
peace.
We're building on peace right now. We're talking about, what does peace mean to you? And what does peace mean to you, Papa Patch? Would you
Um, Peace, which I'm sure you might have said, I use the acronym positive energy activating constant elevation. So
Ooh,
I believe that peace comes from the more positive energy you apply, the more you can elevate yourself. And I think it comes from within, and that people look for peace on the outside. And as long as you do that, you're distracted from not going inwardly. But if you go
mm-hmm.
inwardly first and establish, your own personal peace, then you'll be a reflection of that on the outside. So things that happen on the outside that are beyond your control won't bother you. So that way, no one can ever take your peace.
right?
I
Right.
absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you.
Real talk, man.
I
And
like that.
it's just that easy, y'all. I mean, I know some people don't look at it as being easy like that, but just using that simple perspective
Right.
makes it like,
But another thing is
to me.
people
What you
some people would rather sit and say what seems to be too hard without even trying first.
Hmm.
You have to get out of that
Without
mindset.
even trying it, they'll say it's gonna be too hard. Boy, you so right. That is true. You
Yeah.
be like, you ain't even tried, even attempted it yet. So how do you know it's
Yeah.
gonna be,
They feel
hard?
like I don't want to do it. That's gonna take too long, And we have to stop expecting a quick turnaround for a process like this. It's gonna
Yes.
take time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Lole. How you doing? You have to, And like I said, even like peace, even like we know election and stuff coming up and stuff like that. People should be able to even vote in peace if that's what they're into. I see a lot of people fighting and arguing about if they're Democrat, Republican, and stuff like that. And I'm like, y'all should be able to vote in peace too, right? Why we got to go back and forth, about stuff like that, you know? So, hey, how y'all doing today? Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate the gifts. Um, I was attempting to put it on my TikTok, and I didn't know. I was like, I need my technical difficulty, computer genius, Papa Patch, but you was in another live. It was
Yeah.
echoing, and I couldn't figure out why it kept echoing. So I guess I got to figure that out next time on my next episode. How to go directly live on TikTok too. But I just have
Yeah.
TikTok listening more than anything right
Right.
now. Welcome in,
No.
CEO Knowledge. But yeah, I was just wanting to see what y'all thought about when it came to, what does peace mean and how can we bring more peace in the world? Because like I said, people are out here grieving in peace. I'm grieving and they don't, know how to grieve in peace. When you lose someone, that's a hit too, that's tough, And my mom passed away she transformed last year, and I've been learning more how to miss her in peace instead of hurt, because I was hurt at first, And someone said some real stuff to me. They be like, if you heal from it, you're gonna be able to experience that beautiful spiritual connection that she's wanting to have with you.
Absolutely.
Once I heard that, I was like, well, let me hurry up and get it back together then so I can connect with her again. And
Right.
once I did that, I was able to, connect with her and find more of the peaceful memories and what she, told me and stuff while she was here physically. So
Hmm.
a lot of people be turned sorry. I saw people turn to drugs and suicide, all kind of things when they lose people, you know.
Hmm.
So, and they not right anymore in the mind because it was like a part of them. And I want to be able to help those type of people, if they come across this podcast and to hear this or someone share it and they're grieving to know that they can, miss somebody in peace. It don't have to be in pieces, because
Yeah,
it
because
feels good to them.
I feel like it really doesn't matter what level of spirituality that you obtain or have, at the end of the day, we're still human. So we still have emotions and we're still going to miss people when they leave. But, okay, like my granddad, for instance, he passed February the 1st. And I kind of knew it was coming. And I was just more so preparing my family for it, just having that mental headspace.
Hmm.
So I went home for his funeral. I did the arrangements, all that, walking people through it, helping people grieve through that process. And I remember so many people asking me, how are you making it? How are you
Yeah.
holding up? How are you not
Hmm.
breaking down? Because that was, as I used to call him, my old best friend. Like that was my father figure. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Coco can attest to it. It was chaotic when I went home. It was a lot going on.
What?
I already know.
I can
Trust.
attest to the fact that she genuinely was able to stay in her peace. When you have a foundation of peace, honey,
Yes,
it'll surprise you what you're able to withstand and go through. I'm not saying she was surprised, but I'm just saying it will surprise you though.
it will
Because
definitely surprise you, especially if it's
Yeah.
somebody that close to you. So I totally can relate to that. And
Man,
it's true, when you have that peace about it and you heal from it, they come back so much quicker. Because it was like the later that day, he popped in and was like, "Hey, talking," and he sent me signs, and he be harassing me on a daily. You know what I mean? He
Mhm.
harassed me on a
it
daily.
keeps you busy, it keeps you busy.
It definitely does. And I
Mhm.
mean, even though we still miss their presence here, we feel it even stronger when we have that peace and we heal from it. We go through that process in a positive way.
Yep.
Mhm.
Especially when your life's so
Okay.
busy that you don't even really have time to grieve, sit still to
Yeah.
even reflect it. That's a whole nother thing because you still have it inside of you and you got to keep going. So that's why peace is important because of the fact that you don't even have time to grieve. So you have to,
Right.
peace helping you because life got to keep going. Ain't nothing gonna slow down. You can't just lay in the bed and mope around and think everything gonna be working out for you while you're in the bed grieving. You got to stay strong because that's what they would want us to do anyway. And I thank God for my peace because like I said, I helped find my mom find peace before she went and rest in peace. And we were able to have conversations in peace together. It was no arguing, fighting, cussing, because that's what she used to love to do. And right before she transformed, she was like, "Man, I can't believe I let this person get in my peace." She said, "Let me get back in my peace again." And she posted on her Facebook, and I was just going back reading some of it about how she was saying God and peace, and she was just really like enjoying the fact that I started this whole living peace movement for everybody and stuff, and it just really gave her a drive and some ambition. And that's when I knew peace was the best medicine that we can possibly have here on earth is some peace.
That's very true.
That
Right.
brought back a peace treaty situation that was from our past. And when he was reading that, it just opened up a whole nother dimension to why peace is so important and why our ancestors and everybody else were fighting for peace, you know, because they tried to steal it from us back then. So it's,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. You in the Great Law, she's talking about like when you look at American history, before you had the Constitution, they started the five civilized tribes, and they had this thing called the Great Law of Peace. And there was a tree that was planted in Albany, New York, that's supposed to been the establishment of peace, basically between the warring nations that were coming into the area of the native or Indian land, right? So what they miss about that story is they tell the story as part of history, but what they miss about it is the fact that the symbolism of the peace treaty was an actual tree. And the reason why they were using the actual tree is because a tree has roots in the ground, and the ground, of course, is the earth. So we all come from Mother Earth. And the fact that we come from Mother Earth, we're all going to go back to Mother Earth. So there's also a tradition in Indian culture that before they was putting people in wooden boxes, when they returned to the earth, they were actually putting them in a fetus position and putting them back into the earth that way, the same way that they entered, through the womb or whatever. I'm saying all that to say that no matter how we repackage it, rename it, you're still going to get back to the inner roots of yourself. And um, I
Hmm.
like to look at the fact that you can be an example. It's hard to try to teach someone peace without you being an example. But if you're an example, that's why when she was mentioning her mother,
Hmm.
she could say, I found peace for myself, so now I was able to help my mother find it. What was
Hmm.
the reason why her mom was able to find it is because she saw her in peace. You know what I'm saying? So I just keep pushing that narrative. Like, don't forget that someone else can't really turn you on to it. You have to first be it yourself and then be around. And you can recognize other people like, you know what? They have this certain energy that makes me want to chill with them, or I feel relaxed when I'm with them. Then you tap into, you just be an example. And the more examples we set, people feel uncomfortable when they're around people that are peaceful. Even if we joking and laughing, we still, peaceful people at the end of the day. So yeah, I
Right.
like to look inwardly because, and then just to build a little bit on what you were talking about with the part of the distractions. The distractions, they come in all safe forms, from a bill, to like she was saying, death, to sickness or whatever. But when you have that peace within, you're not worried about what someone else understands. So
Uh-huh.
you're like, okay, I understand that you're this person or you this thing, but I'm dealing with me right now. And you have to be selfish. You know what I mean? And that's
Mm-hmm.
when people say it's so hard, it's hard to be selfishly inwardly and easy to be selfishly outwardly. So
Ooh.
outwardly, you can be very selfish with no problem. You know what I'm saying? People actually find enjoyment in this shit. But if you practice the inward selfishness, that's actually not as easy because um, it's kind of lonely. You know what I mean? You start saying, you know what? I
Absolutely.
don't want to go to the club, or I don't want to go to that thing right now. I want some me time. You know what I mean? I need
Right.
space. And the more space you give yourself, and the more you deal with yourself inwardly, other people are gonna be like, "Oh, you stand up, you don't mess with us no more," and they're gonna try to pull you out of yourself to go into whatever they may be dealing with. And that's to me, I seen the most difficult happen when it came to that. When it came to being selfish for yourself.
True.
Gotta put me first, Lucius. Gotta put me first.
Yeah,
That's a fact, man.
and
That
feel
is
good
so
about it.
true.
You got to feel good about it too, for real. You do. Like I said, because we're so attached to so many things. Like he said, on mundane life, things happen. People transform, bills, rent. People be stressed out like crazy over rent. Like and then they get turned to escapism, and then it just keeps falling on down before you get to that part.
Mm-hmm.
Find some peace. You don't even got to worry about it because if you peace, I say tell people all the time, when your inner peace mess up, there becomes health problems. Health problems end up in the hospital. The hospital, more bills. More bills, more stress. So why do you want to take yourself all through all of that when you can just find your peace and don't let
Exactly.
none of that
Because
stuff
we
take
have to
yourself
think
all
too, these things are gonna exist regardless. That's just the
right.
way
Yeah.
the world is. And I have a thing that I say daily, and it don't matter. Because the more you grow in this spiritual journey, the more when you look at the way of the world and how people operate, stuff that used to bother you and your team really shows you how the things it doesn't matter. It don't matter. It's
Mm-mm.
knowing who you are and having your peace so you can live the way that you were supposed to in the beginning to start
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
with. And it
And
takes
that's
it takes a while to get there, but it's worth it. Because I will say quick. I don't know. I don't care. Don't matter. If
Mhm.
my team, and again Coco can attest to this, if they're like, we finna send you to Canada today, I'm like, okay, well, Canada it is.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing matters. Like you have to have that peace. You
Right.
just have to.
that's another part, even with you and the divine masculine over here was saying. I'm so sorry. I can't remember your name off top. But it's like you really have to first and foremost, what is your value system in? If you don't value peace, if you value other people's opinion, if you think that's where your worth comes from, or if you value whatever status you think that you can acquire, then that's what you're gonna be searching after more than peace. I don't care how many times you'd be like, I get peace because I make this money. Da, 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 da. Oh, okay. Well, if it give you peace, then what you searching? What is it that you're still looking for that you're not feeling fulfilled?
Right.
Like, what's
Exactly.
your value?
Yeah. Because I've seen people living in mansions and they're still not in peace.
And
Beautiful,
miserable.
Killing themselves,
beautiful
killing
views.
themselves. They
And
will still commit
miserable.
suicide.
Hmm.
Will still
Yeah.
commit suicide in this mansion with this bank account and unlimited access to everything.
Yep. They don't have that inner peace. That's why money, none of that can buy you peace. It don't
Don't
come from
matter.
none of them materialistic stuff. It don't come from none of that. It ain't gonna nobody else outside of you. You is gonna be your peace. I'm telling you, man. And like I was
Yeah.
saying, it's with those thoughts. So it is a thought.
Great podcast, Ricky. I love it. I actually was telling Coco earlier, I had a vision of this panel, and I didn't even know what this panel was going to look like until joining the live. You remember when
Mm-hmm.
I came to your other live earlier, and I said big things are about to happen, and this
Mhm.
podcast is going to continue to grow. We're going to have more boxes up here, like it's the
Hmm.
whole thing. I love it.
Hmm.
Thank y'all.
I'm
Thank
grateful
y'all.
that you allowed us to be a part. Seriously.
Absolutely.
I'm glad y'all
Yeah.
all came here today. We can converse. I thank y'all so much for y'all time. I know time is valuable, and I appreciate y'all. Um,
When we give time to what gives us peace. Ha!
Yeah.
that's what I want. The people can have a place to come to build and feel and be in peace and stuff, and share what they know and what they've been through too. Because, like I said, you never know who's out there going through that same situation right now and don't know how to find it, and they can come
Right.
across us and be like, "Wow, they just gave me exactly what I needed," and I just thought I was going to end everything today until I heard Coco, Papa Patch, or Queen and Ricky and whoever else, and I changed my mind. I want to keep going in life, you
Right.
know. And I came across people in this state of mind, like they just want to say forget everything, and I had to talk them into peace again, and
And
Absolutely.
I think this is needed. I think this is needed on the level that you're doing it as far as the internet, because all across this internet, people are arguing and going back and forth about different beliefs and different things, whether it be from gaming to religion to politics. So this podcast being something that is not honing in on who you are or trying to tell you who what you they think
Hmm.
of you. I think that was needed, like a balance. You know what I mean? So no matter what somebody is, they can come over here and talk about positive things. Being that they probably spend the rest of the day talking about argumentative things. You know what I mean? So it's good to take a break and be able to come somewhere and be like, okay, over here we talking about upliftment and positive
Hmm.
energy. You know,
right, exactly.
yeah. So I appreciate it too.
Thank y'all. Like I said, I appreciate y'all too.
Hey, look, it's a big old vacuum hole for that balance. So you you ready,
Yeah.
get ready, get ready, get ready, baby. Get
Been
ready.
going through a lot of shifts. Like I said, it be people out here. I know people out there dealing with mudslides, floods, all kind of stuff right now, and they need peace in the midst of their storms, and
Mhm.
I'm here for it,
I
and
love it.
I'm glad y'all here too, because I know all of y'all, everybody on here right now understand, overstand, understand peace. When I'm
Overstood.
me and Papa
Hmm.
Pat, he be able to go in peace, because no matter what was popping off or people popping off on him, he always remained in peace. Like y'all, I've
Yeah.
seen this man supposed to flip out on people the way they was acting and carrying situations, but he's always kept his peace. My sister had asked him, "Do you even have any emotions?" Because no matter what nobody say or do to you, you do not let that shit get to you.
Yeah.
And you human. My sister wanted to know was he human, at one point in time, because we're not used to somebody that know how to remain in peace no matter what
Yeah.
Well,
somebody's going.
at a young age, I experienced, my brother, like being like he passed away at a very young age. So we were young when I lost my brother. So to lose someone close to you immediately, it makes you get real right off the
Hmm.
top. So I'm like,
Absolutely.
okay, where is this place called heaven? What is
Right.
love?
Come
And what
on.
is like I'm asking all the questions at a
Yes.
young age. So I had to find peace early. You know what I'm saying? Because I saw
Hmm.
that when I looked for it outwardly, nobody had the answer. So I'm like, yo, the preacher don't know, my mama don't know, she's crying, she trying to deal with her own sanity, you know. So I had to find peace within. And so I actually went within myself and started establishing who I was, and knowing and being confident in who that was. You know what I mean? Saying
Right.
everybody ain't gonna like me. Everybody gonna have different opinions. I don't care as long as I like me. You know what I'm saying? As long as
Right.
I love me. And then from there on, nothing else really mattered. So I could confront almost anything. Like I could walk through the woods and not be scared because I'm at peace. You know, I'm gonna defend myself and stuff, but I don't have to go on to nothing trying to prove something to somebody else or fit
Mm-hmm.
in somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't look like this, so this person's gonna judge me, or I don't talk like this. You know, I don't talk proper enough. I was so much at peace. Like you were saying, people were just like, "Well, ain't no point in asking his opinion because we know he don't care."
Right. My granddad, he was like that, and coming from how he grew up, a lot of his kids and other family would be like, "How you so calm all the time?" Why? And
Mhm.
he used to always say, "I can't help how people treat me, but I can help how I treat people,
Come
and
on.
Mhm.
I know what I want to deal with and what I don't." So if he has something to say, he'll say it and go right back to his moment of, "Well, that was it. That's all I had to say." Like nothing bothered him, nothing. Because he used to
Mm.
always say, "If you don't have your peace, you don't have nothing."
That's so
Big fact.
true.
Big fact.
It's a lifestyle,
It
and it's the
is.
best
That's big facts.
lifestyle to live. Because that's why I inspire people. Even if you want to work out and lose weight or whatever, do that in peace. Quit smoking cigarettes. You in peace. It's so much you can just do in peace. If you even have a breakup with somebody, y'all ain't got to be fighting and trying to take each other out.
Right.
Y'all can break up in peace. It don't have to be
Mhm.
crazy. It's all
Yep.
kind of things. They're really taking this in peace to a whole nother level. Because some people over here talking about you can cheat in peace, and they making a little fun out of it. But at least peace still there. I found it funny. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Talking about let me cheat in peace, let me shit in peace, and everybody talking about just different things they can do now, y'all.
Listen, let them do it. Listen, practice how you do in peace, and then when it really connects, you're gonna really get to sift out that other bull crap.
Right.
Or if it's any bull crap, because quite frankly, we all different part of journeys. We all have different purposes. We all
Mhm.
have different contracts with different spirits to perform a certain something in each other's life. So you go
Mhm.
ahead, do it in peace, baby.
Right.
Go
Exactly.
ahead.
And
And
enjoy the moment.
Papa Patrick
Yes.
and Coco be sounding alike because they Scorpios, so they be over there.
Oh, okay. Shout out to the Scorpions.
Hey, big brother.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
can't.
Yes,
I
sir.
can't take too many more Scorpios. I can't.
Yes, sir.
All
I
right.
got a big brother who is a
Papa
Scorpio. Okay, I'm
Pat is
sorry.
the
In
last
peace.
Scorpio
Yeah.
to come through my life in peace. Okay.
He's a Scorpio in peace. There's
Yes.
some guys
Yes.
who are not in peace,
Yes.
That's a
especially
difference.
It
in
is.
peace. Coco
It
is a
is.
Scorpio in peace. Some
Yeah.
people there are signs that are just not in peace. So I call
Yeah.
myself
Yeah.
in peace. But some cancers are not in peace. They're emotional and they're really all
Yes.
Mhm.
you gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank y'all though again. This is the first episode and I feel like it turned out pretty good. And now I
Woo!
Girl, it
Good.
turned out
Good.
more than good. This is amazing.
Beautifully.
and after I get
Mhm.
off here, I gotta do a reading in peace. I'll probably
And
read in peace.
just know that when you return to TikTok, I will be there in peace.
No
So
doubt.
you can keep me in peace and not pieces.
Okay.
I got y'all. Y'all know I got y'all when it comes to peace. Okay? We gotta do everything in
Babe, I
peace.
need some of them in peace dresses though, honey. But I'm
Oh
gonna let you
yes.
go. But I need to get on this good old. What? How do I
You need
get
the
it?
merch.
Cause the
Let me take it
merch.
right there, girl. Sherescue.com, right there on the
She rescued.
screen.
Thank you. Cause baby, I need all
Cause
of
I
that.
Love it.
be going around the where my area and stuff, these men be like, I love your lips. And I'll be like, yeah. Because I know they're talking about the merch and I be having it on and stuff. And I'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, funny because they be
Baby,
finding they
yes. Come get these lips in peace.
laugh because they when they say it, they got a sense of humor behind it and they laugh, I laugh. It's
Yeah.
the truth. And then the women, they love it. They be like, man, I love your mask. I love the whole message. We need
Mm-hmm.
right now. This older lady, she about cried, looking, reading, and she was like, "We so need that right now, man."
Oh.
So
I
happy
love
that
that.
I was doing this, and I said, "See, this it reminds me every time I turn around. It reminds me of why I got to keep going and pushing this piece because people really do, you
Pushing
Well,
know."
I'm
peace.
proud of you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Learning
very
peace. I
I'm
thought
super
strong.
about the
proud of
children
you.
too. I thought about the children too. We got to learn in peace. Let them babies cry in peace.
Yes.
Let them
No,
Mhm.
dogs
really.
bark in peace.
That's a whole different conversation, but
Man, say.
absolutely.
Mhm.
We're gonna be able to build on all kind of things tied to peace, y'all. And it's just the first
Yeah.
episode. I like the way it's 6:25, y'all. It's 6:25 on the clock. So God's showing me that hey, we about to end it on your birthday time. So that's
Let's
how we
Ooh,
do.
that's
go.
good. Yeah.
That's it. That's your
Let's
time, baby.
All
go.
right, man. Y'all have a blessed one. I'm glad you had me on the panel. I look to the next one.
And
Y'all
I thank
ladies have a
y'all.
beautiful week.
You as
All right,
well. Peace, love, and flow.
y'all.
Bye.
Till next time, remember everybody live in peace and not in pieces.